Welcome once again back for the environmental dialogue here at UCTV. We are here always to basically to articulate, to explore more things concerning with our environment. And that's why UCTV has become the mainstream media to articulate issues, to share ideas, and to bring other people from every sector to share their idea on how we should manage our environment. What are the policies that the government has in place? And you know that this year we are so blessed that 2025 we have a series of environmental celebration events. And you know that we are going to start this year. You know that as the year starts, we start with always World Wetlands Day, which is celebrated every 2nd of February. Then after World Wetlands Day, we have the World Forestry Day, we have the World Meteorology Day, we have the World Water Day, which is celebrated, even International Day of Biodiversity. All these events concerning environment, we know that Ugandans have not been really active into it, but we love that when the young people come together and they start picking up, seeing which area they could understand why do we celebrate events, why do we need to sit in the water forum, on the World Water Forum. And you know, even East Africa community have come up with the idea of bringing the young people together and also making them that they form something to do with environmental parliament or the World Water, the East African Water Parliament, where the young people discuss ideas, they look at certain initiatives, how they can work together with the government to implement these ideas. And today in the studio, I have my guests who have been, they are not new, they have been always here since 2024, they have been here, and some of you know already, you understand them. And I want just to give them the time to greet you, since we are in, you know, it's 2025. Maybe some of them you have not heard their voice, but today you will hear their voice. Let me start from, they say ladies first. Let me start with Samantha. Samantha, say hi to the viewers.
Good evening to you all. I'm Kungu Samantha, an innovator, a passionate leader, but also someone that's passionate about climate change and the environment at large.
Oh, thank you. You have heard from Samantha. Then let me come to Eric. Eric, greet the viewers.
Yes, good evening to you all. My name's Luce Eric Matthew. Yes, an active climate change activist, founder Actions for a Better Future, and team leader My Nature Community Work Campaign.
Wow. You know, I love Eric, I love Samantha, the energy that they have really for the passion they have for the environment. People, when I call them upon, I say that, Eric, do you know we need to have this and this? And they say, Dickens, where can we meet? And anything, I always be there for. So, which is a very good initiative. You know, they always say a little drop of water, a little grain of sand, make a mighty ocean and a pleasant land. And here today, we are here to discuss the importance of wetlands. As we celebrated World Wetlands Day, why do you need to celebrate these days, these events? Why? Because someone is maybe seated down there in the village and they say, now, that they had come to release, what's the initiative? Why should we celebrate? And we have been speaking a lot about wetlands. Even the president had to come in and say, you know what? We don't want to negotiate with anyone. Things to do with wetlands. And we understand that wetlands are the kidney of the earth. Without wetlands, we know what we are in trouble. So Eric, why should we be discussing about wetlands? Every day, you know, NEMA is running with people up and down. Ministry of Water, the Department of Wetlands, they are running with people. You see, the people of Bugolobe last time, they were crying loud at there are some investors, some people they don't know, they are really degrading the wetland. Why should we really, why should our concern be about wetlands, Eric?
Yes, thank you so much, my brother Dickens. First of all, what I know is most people, they don't know the importance of wetlands, like they're ignorant about wetlands. But then they need to be educated. And we, as the passionate climate change activists, we need to spread the gospel to these people to let them know the importance of wetlands. Now you can find yourself, you see someone has saved their money and they end up buying land in a wetland just because it might slightly be cheaper. But then after some time, their investment has been demolished by floods, and then this person is going to land into losses, and then they'll end up crying out to government for help forgetting that they are the ones who harbored in a place where they are not supposed to be, like in the place where they are not supposed to settle at that point in time. So wetlands are very important in terms of conserving the environment and climate at large, in that wetlands, like when it rains, these wetlands, they are places that God gave to the earth to collect the running water, to harbor there, and then the cycle of rainfall to reoccur again. But then when people decide to relocate, to decide and settle in wetlands, then I think they need to be more educated about the importance of wetlands, whereby most of them, they're ignorant about that.
We have seen also a scenario whereby someone knows that I know that someone even proclaim and say that these wetlands belongs to me. Yeah. And they start bringing even for you the history of their parents. My grandfather was doing this and this, my what was doing this, so now these wetlands belongs to me. And they know that really things to do with the natural resources, according to the law, it belongs what? To the government. It's the government to manage, to coordinate everything which happens there. Mm-hmm. So, Samantha, as Eric said that, that the government has still a very big problem. Why is chasing people up and down? Is it that people maybe they are stubborn, or maybe there is some hidden interest that we don't understand, that also people have not understood? Maybe the importance of wetlands, the impact, what really happens in wetlands. Because we know that really, according to the GDP, we know that the activities or the livelihood that happens around wetlands, it contributes to 21% of the GDP of the country, which is a very big thing to the economy of our country. So why should the government emphasize the wetland issues?
Not to differ from Eric, there is a lot of ignorance on the importance of wetlands. And the moment you don't understand the value of something, you'll never protect it, and you'll never think about conserving it. So most of the people are ignorant about the importance of these wetlands that we have in the country. But all thanks to the government and the different institutions and organizations that are trying to put forward this, because you see, we are going to celebrate the World Wetlands Day, yes, International Day of Wetlands. But this is also a reminder, year in, year out, that this is something we should conserve. This is something we should protect, because they saw how important this was, not just in the celebrations, but also in the conservation of our motherland earth. Yes? So people just don't have the knowledge, but also some of them do have the knowledge, but because I believe it's the situation of survival that pushes them to encroach these spaces. Because I can give an example. Most of the swamps you see around, you'll find people staying, not just staying, but like some people are doing business there. There is a swamp I went to not so long ago. It was just a small family. Yeah. They decided to settle there because they first of all didn't have land. So I think to an extent it's also the issue of poverty. Because these people didn't have land, because I had a chat with them. Yeah. They explained they didn't have land to settle. So they got this space near a swamp, knowing, well, nobody would have to chase them around, and it's free space. They started doing rice farming in that swamp. That was the dad doing the rice farming. Okay. The mother was doing the fishing in the area still, and like, there are usually trees around, so firewood, all these things. But people are using encroachment of these spaces, of these wetlands, as a means for survival, which is not right. That's why the government put in place strict laws and policies to govern these areas. But should I say it's ignorance of the policies? I can't say that, but for fact, people are just stubborn about it. There are those that are stubborn, there are those that are ignorant. Yeah. But also, there are those that are rich above the law. Okay. So these people, they obviously know that, spaces like swamps, we can occupy them and set up a business and create an investment there. Yeah. That's why you find actually most of these places in town, some of them were wetlands within town, but why do we see buildings now?
We are seeing apartments.
We are seeing apartments, we are
malls.
seeing hotels, we are seeing buildings, and like all these kinds of things are like, because I believe some people are just above the law. Because a poor person, for fact, a poor person cannot go and make an investment in a swamp. Do you know how much soil it takes to fill up that area? It's a lot of machinery and fill-ups.
Okay.
So a poor person cannot do that. So most of the areas, especially within town, it is
You mean
the
that
rich people that
the
have
ri-
invested
the
in
elite,
that.
whom we call them the elite.
The elite, some that feel they're above the law. But thanks to the government that at least some of these policies are working, and the areas that have already been encroached, we can't obviously retrieve them back. It's such a loss for the country and for ourselves for failure to protect. But the others...
But nature can retrieve itself back.
Exactly.
But
Nature can retrieve itself.
Eric, because like even though you're saying that, because there is someone down there who is watching us today and say that you've been preaching to us about wetlands, but for me now who stays maybe near Lwera, who stays near maybe Mpolongoma, those areas, say that why should I protect wetlands? Because first of all, I know that wetlands, I can grow my rice in wetlands. Or maybe if I don't have land, I can do certain things. But they have never understood why they need to what?
To
protect these wetlands. So why should someone there in the village or in a rural area, also in the city, should really stand up and say, we need to protect these wetlands, and the leaders, because we have the LC1s, the LC2, all this, and we find that these leaders have not even understood all these concepts. So can you tell someone really why we need to protect all these resources?
All right. My own perception about that would be, for someone around River Mpologoma who is utilizing the wetland to do their farming activity, I would say farming in a wetland wouldn't be a bad activity in terms to conserving, in terms to protecting the wetland. But then where it gets worse is someone to get hazardous chemicals like pesticides and stuff like that, and then they be using, because nowadays farming is always like it's controlled by such stuff, chemicals, and then these chemicals are going to damage the wetland, because in these wetlands there are other living things that are harboring. There are stuff like snakes, fish, and other stuff. But then you pouring chemicals in the wetland, in an instant of you having pesticides and insecticides, you're damaging the wetland. And then the other thing that is very terrible is this thing of setting up infrastructures in wetlands. That one is really so challenging that, as my colleague Samantha said, that that thing of infrastructures is one-sided. There is people who are like, we are above the law. Yeah. We have Gamba Nogu, you get?
Yeah.
Because you will find NEMA attacking Lubiji people, because these are like low income earners, like they're just working for today's food. These people have got like a small plot of land to build like a small house just to grow their families. But then these people, when it comes to NEMA doing their demolishing activities, relocation, these are the people who will find that they have been relocated, and then there is someone, because they have a big infrastructure there, they are above the law, for them they will have to stay. And that is not a good activity, because we will not be able, even though we are like, we need to protect the wetlands, the people we are asking to protect the wetlands, they will not be in the position to protect them when they are saying that it is a one-sided issue. That someone is going to be relocated, but then there is someone who is going to stay in the same place. So there is no way you can convince someone not to stop buying in the wetland or to stop doing their activity in the wetland when there is someone who has an infrastructure there, and there is no one who is bothering to like relocate that person because they claim to be above the law. You get? And they even have the ability to bring forces to protect their infrastructure when they are demolishing other people's infrastructures. So I think it all goes back to the government. Let it be a mandate that if there is a demolition, no one is above the law.
Yeah.
Because these people, they came to buy in the wetland when they know it very well that this is a wetland. So if I have a project I want to set up, let me not set up here. let me find somewhere where it's convenient, and then I do my investment there. But then when it's done here, let this person be sure that one day, one time, the government is going to come and they'll ask this person to relocate with no compensation.
Yeah.
Yes.
You get? And I think by us doing like that, then someone like a low income earner will be like, oh, then it means if this person has been stopped from doing that, how can I do it? How can I buy there? Me who even doesn't have the ability to set up such an infrastructure. You get? But then we'll be like, we want to protect wetlands, but then there's the other side of people, which is like, for us, we can, who are you to tell me to demolish my building? Who are you? Because they know if you decide to demolish it, you're going to lose your job. You get?
Yeah.
I think the right word to use is corruption. Yeah, it's corruption that this person is going to call someone, and this someone is going to call these people on ground to tell them, stop there, don't go the other side.
Yeah.
Demolish from here to the other side. But you might even find yourself that this place where this infrastructure is, it was even more of a wetland than the other side of where these people are.
Yeah.
Do you know how many malls and apartments and hotels have been set up in wetlands? If you're to search into the history of wetlands, especially in the cities,
Yeah.
you're going to notice that most of these prominent buildings that we are having in town filled up so many wetlands around. And now, just like the low income earner that you talked about, someone from Pologoma, those places, Lubiji, exactly. For you to tell someone the importance of something, it usually comes from it usually comes from them having faced something.
Yeah.
Because I can give you an example. Now, someone like that, if they were to approach me, I would ask them, does it flood where you stay? And I can promise you that if you go to some areas in town, especially around those areas of Lubiji, someone that is staying close to it will notice the floods. You find people's houses are being flooded, people's utensils are flying all over areas. And like most places in town, also flood when it rains. You find the roads are impassable. You find different places are filled with plastics, because also pollution kind of affects this whole system.
Yeah.
So not until someone notices the magnitude of their problem that they are going to stand up and think about conserving these wetlands. Okay. That's why I said some people are just ignorant about the whole bit of wetlands and how important they are to us.
But you talk of the elite, and we know that over 60 to 70% of the people who stay in the city areas and the urban areas are the elite. And these are the people who they understand, they have read, they are exposed, they have moved and they have traveled even the other side of the world, and they have seen our things. But still, you say that the poor person cannot go carry out a multi-million project or what?
No.
But what's the problem of? Is it that the elite are stubborn, or maybe
the elite, they know what they are doing. They clearly know that I'm encroaching this space, because I can give you an example. I can't give directly, I can't mention names, but somewhere close to where I stay, I saw people being evacuated. These were taxi parks, these were houses, these were businesses that were destroyed, but in protection of these wetlands. They chased these people along the swamps on either side of the road. And it's because the law was passed. Okay. But just not even a kilometer from that place, there is some big person that has a humongous industry in the swamp itself. No. And that one wasn't evicted. Yes. I don't know if they usually give like a duration of time before you evict someone, so that like they prepare to like move their things, but this person clearly shows that they are still putting up structures. Exactly. Okay. So these people have the knowledge of how these wetlands are important to us, and of how much damage it causes to the environment. But some people also just don't want to know about the environment. And it's because of that ignorance, they won't even think about the future generations to come. Right now, you're looking at you having that money, you're looking at the investment, you're looking at how much money you're making, but in the long run, it's going to affect those kids that you're working for. Yeah, that's but true. If you don't have a perspective or a thought of long-term effects, a thought of what are my children, what are my grandchildren going to face in the future, you'll continue encroaching that. So right now people are focusing on the present situation. Even those that encroach the wetlands, they are focusing on the fact that, you know what, I have to eat to survive. I have to look for where to stay. So you're going to find that person, the low-income earner, setting up a structure near the wetland because they are looking at now. Like, how am I going to survive at this present time? Without thinking of other options elsewhere.
I think the right word to use is selfishness.
And greed.
And me, I might call them the so-called elites. They are selfish.
Yes.
Reason being, someone is setting up something, but is not minding of the other person who is, because most of these elite, the so-called elites, sorry to say, but that's the word I think, because the way I perceive the word elite, this is someone who is educated. They know like what to do. You get. But then when you just take it for granted, that it means you don't know what you're doing, but you know what you're doing, but you're just being selfish. Because these people, you find that these are people, like some of them, they're on the highland, and then these ones, there are people on the lowland, whereby wetlands are in most cases are the lowland. You get. But then these people, have you heard of a term called earth sealing?
Yeah.
Earth sealing, whereby someone is going to use pavers all over, to use tarmac all over. Earth sealing is also a challenge to the wetlands, whereby initially God created the earth and gave it the ability to absorb water. That this land is in the position to absorb water when it comes to raining. But then earth sealing, this is like because of selfishness and maybe luxuriousness. That someone will want to live in a clean environment, but then is forgetting that you're claiming to live in a clean environment, but then you're causing harm somewhere. Because these wetlands will get filled with a lot of water. Reason being, someone, elite, has sealed the area. This water is not is not in the position to be absorbed, but then it will end up flooding somewhere, whereby it is going to flood in the wetland. So the wetland is going to be challenged because the water which is going to come in this place is going to be too much. Reason being, there is someone selfish up there who is claiming to be elite. You get? So I think it's we need, I don't know, but we need to create, I think we need to create more awareness in the community such that people can know the importance of wetlands. Be an elite person and be this one who is not seemed to be an elite person. Because I think you know what they call, like, I'm forgetting the term to use, like someone you're aspiring to be like.
A role model?
A role model. Yeah. In most cases, you find yourself that this person is looking at that elite person to be their role model. So if this elite person is taking things for granted and someone is looking at this person as their role model, what is the future going to be like? This person will also be like, if I grow, I get some money, I'll do as he is doing. I'll build in the wetland. I'll set up in an industry or anywhere because I know I am above the law. You get? So something like that.
All right. Okay, then that was Eric's submission, and we still have Eric Samantha here in the studio. I want us just to go for a short commercial break, then we shall be back with the challenges that they have been facing, or maybe is it the policy or the people who have not understood this policy, or also the resources from the government, which is not enough to implement certain activities or environmental education within the community. We shall be back. Keep the dial, don't tune or change. Keep it locked at UCTV Environment Dialogue. Thank you.
UCTV, good news for all.
Yes. Bwenti. Bananga senga vera mutia. Hello.
Hello.
Owangu de TV bwaguga. Esanyu ngatono.
Esanyu lingi nyonyo liri ku mutima. Liri ku mutima.
Bana na nyigana labinga ko musolo kwa zamu.
Emyezi emeka.
Myezi 3.
Yo muwanguzi mu Azam TV na wangula fridge.
Ate tulina ekirabo Semalabo miliyoni 2 wewangulire miliyoni 2 bettu kati nno tolinda weeyunge ku ssanyu leero okumanya ebisingawo noti 3 23 noti 8 9 noti.
Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Don't miss Pop Audience every Wednesday live on UCTV.
La fede passa con la vita, per questo le madri e le nonne sono le prime annunciatrici. Un applauso alle mamme e alle nonne.
Pop Audience live from the Vatican at 10 a.m.
Benedicat vos, omnipotens Deus, Pater et Filius et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
UCTV, good news for all.
We are sister counselors. We are here to share with you about a number of topics, issues concerning human life.
We have groups, can have a group of children, a group of youth, families.
We also offer workshops to a variety of group of people. We go to schools, we go to parishes, to sisters' congregations.
Every Monday, Saturday and Sunday.
Children, how are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you being punished for nothing?
The elderly, are you feeling challenged in the world? Are you rejected?
Husband and wife, don't miss.
Hello and welcome back to Connect with Mary on the Uganda Catholic Television, Good News for All.
Today, like I told you earlier, we are going to talk about the 7 sorrows of Mary.
You know, for me, the strength of Mary, I think, we are looking at Mary as a symbol of strength and resilience.
When Simeon saw Jesus, because the angel God had revealed to him that he will not die until he sees.
If it was not the woman, the mother of Jesus.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1, dial *165*3#. Step 2, enter merchant code 180572. Step 3, enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4, pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5, enter PIN code and send. Step 6, you will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the sports link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
Messi! Thuram! Mbappe!
Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball.
Nasanga taking the shot, and look at that exceptional steal.
Motorsports.
Oh my leg!
Boxing, swimming and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We are still here with you at UCTV Environmental Dialogue. And my guests are ready. You've seen all the fire from Samantha, the energy that she's really trying to accolade and bring other ideas. And I think that maybe if they put the minister in charge of the environment, they lead people with Eric, I don't know, elite will disappear from the city. So, away from that, you have had the idea that really you need to be one person that should protect yourself first of all. If you know that you love your environment, you love your community, you love the part of Africa, that is Uganda, you need to do something about where you're staying, what you're doing. You need to be mindful of that. And that's the reason right now we are going back to my guest, Eric. I think you are saying about like the problem with the late in the city area, in the urban areas. These are people who are learned, who have known this. So, and you see that again also we have the rural people whom we know that their contribution to our economy is over like 70%, especially when you see that Yubo states that 77% of the women in Uganda who are in rural area, they contribute to 21% to the agricultural sector in Uganda. And you know that it's the women that have always involved themselves in agriculture, and agriculture is a backbone of our country. And where do we carry out this agriculture? So I think that even 70 to 80%, or 70%, most times we carry out in wetlands. We have seen, if you go to Luera, you go to Mpolongoma, you have seen people growing rice, people mayuni, a lot of things that happen. So how can the government handle all this? Not only the government, because I know that we have the private sectors, we have the NGOs who are always teaching people about smart agriculture. So really, what do you think that the government should really do to handle, to tackle all this? So let me start with Samantha.
Dickens, I love the statistics that you've given. That huge number of percentage are the women carrying out agriculture.
Yeah.
And clearly shows that we are also the backbone of the country. But
that's the reason why we're celebrating you people, Women's Day.
And the men are always cheated.
We won't go into that discussion, but
it's fine, you understand that.
Yes, but the way forward, one of the key things I feel that we need to put focus on is strict and fair enforcement of these laws that are in place. Because you notice that if we live in a country where certain laws are like broken, certain laws are not appreciated by the people who set them themselves, there is nothing that can be done. If we are seeing there are some people above the law that are encroaching these spaces, ruthlessly by the way, which means that there is still a lot that we need to do. And that comes back to also SDG 16. We have to have prior knowledge of everything. If we have the peace, if we have the strong institutions and justice, we can live in a better space and a better world. Because, come to think about it, these people who are above the law have the liberty to, first of all, invest anywhere. They have the liberty to put up the structures, put up businesses, and then someone else that is a low-income earner is being evicted from their space. Do you know how much rage it causes to that person? Do you know how angry the person can be? Because they are seeing clearly I'm being pushed. It's just like an unfair parent. If you're a parent, if you're a mother, and then you come and buy a biscuit for your son, and you fail to buy for your other son, you're clearly going to create issues and jealousy and anger between these two brothers, because they are seeing that you're treating one in a more fair way compared to the other. So I feel like we need to enforce these laws and have them fairly implemented onto the people.
We just have recently the scenario of Luigi, where that old woman was justifying herself that she has stayed in the area for over 60 years. But you see that when you look at the policy really doesn't favor her. The policy was against all what she was doing. But you find out also what's saying that the public outcry, where they say that the laws are for the rich, protects only the rich, but not for the
shouldn't be the case.
Because at that same point of Lubigi, there is also a petroleum factory industry, which has its head offices in the same area there. But then that old woman was relocated, but then that construction has spent there like 3 years. But it's still there up to now. That's the unfairness she's trying to talk about.
Because another way I feel like we have to do this is also creating awareness of the importance of these wetlands onto the local people. Because you notice most of these things are discussed in like spaces, offices, but someone deep down in the village does not have prior knowledge on like the whole idea of why should we protect wetlands? Why are they important to our spaces, to our world, to our Uganda? Exactly. Not just like that old lady. She was trying to justify that she has spent 60 years of her life staying around that area. But she doesn't notice that the more she stays there, the higher chances of her facing a bigger problem. Because I can give an example. Some people that are still staying in the Bududa place, you clearly know that that place floods. But because you choose to insist and say that, you know what, I've been here for like the last 20 years of my life, there is no way you're taking me to a new place. Exactly. But it's because you don't know why you should be moving from that place, or why you need to get a new space. So these people need to be educated first of all. Go down, and it depends on how you evict the people. You just can't enforce your laws somewhere, maybe in parliament, and then you come down to this rope and you're like, move, go away. Like, get away, this place is not accepted, you're not supposed to stay here. They won't understand why you're chasing them. And give it 2 months, these people are going to come back to the same place where you chased them from. So you have to go down. If it's supposed to be enforced in a proper way, reach out to those areas, talk to those people, give them a brief. Let it be like a program for like a month, trying to tell them about the effects of encroaching that space before you chase them out ruthlessly. So you come, and if I'm a local person, I have like a small place, at least come and tell me 3 months earlier. Come and brief me, tell me, you know what, there are higher chances this place might flood, and you people will lose your property, you will lose your business, it will be hard for you to start up. And if the worst comes to the worst, there are higher chances you can lose your life. So if someone gets to understand the magnitude of the problem of encroaching these wetlands, they'll start thinking, I'm not ready to lose my life. I'm not ready to lose my family because this place has flooded. So let me start thinking of where to move my family and move my business for my safety, but also for the safety of those that I love. So if this is done more like in a sequential kind of way, in that you're preparing the people mentally to first of all move from the place they have so long used to stay, then it's easy for them to even move themselves, to evict themselves from the area. But you're just chasing people. How do you think I'm going to understand why you're chasing me? You're going to say the government has said you're not supposed to stay around this place because it's a wetland.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, let me come to you. Samantha, as she has spoken about preparing people's mind, talking to people about the importance of wetland, why they need to move away from that area. But still, we have a very big problem, and we have just seen an example from the Bududa incident, these landslides. You remember that when the landslide occurred in Bududa, the government came up with the initiative through the office of the Prime Minister, where they prepared the land. I think in Bulambuli, where they created space for them, and they had to tell people they need what? Relocate and move in there. But still you find that other people, they refuse, and they say, no, we are not moving away from our ancestral land. Our judges, our what say that we need to stay there. And the government tried to plead to these people. Also, this the same scenario we have seen it in Kasese during the flooding, where the government tried to say, let's relocate from this area, leave this area, let's move at least to a good place that people can be safe from. But still, you find that these people are stand and they have refused to. But again, when this occurs, natural disaster occurs, you find that people are saying, government iliwa, government yetu. So what can we really do to handle all this?
All right. One thing I know is government has power and government has authority. So if they tell those people to relocate in a calm way and they refuse, then the government is just reluctant about them relocating. But then if they mean it that you have to relocate, no one can stay there. Live example, what happened during COVID? You should be at your home by 6.
Yeah. And
that was a must. And so it happened. You get? So if government comes and tells you, this place you're trying to harbor in, it's not safe for you. We are relocating you to another place. And then someone is trying to be hesitant. Government, maybe they just be like, okay, you stay there, I will suffer the consequences. But then if they mean it, trust me, no one can stay there. That's when you see someone trying to call the leader a dictator, because they have tried to talk to you in a calm way and you have hesitantly refused to abide with what they have told you. You get? But then if government enforces, because there is passing a law and there is also enforcing the law. The law, yeah. You get? That if they tell you this place, no one is supposed to harbor here. And then how can you, a civilian, start challenging government? I'm sure you cannot.
When the government is trying to protect you and your property.
Unless it's the other way around, elite, above the law, you get?
Yeah.
Unless it's the other way around, those are the people who can do that, who can be like, for us we are, who are you to tell me to relocate? Because you find yourself that this is going to be like the local police, because it has got a call from somewhere that you tell those people in that area to relocate, and then this person they are relocating is also having another call he can make. You get? Yeah. To someone, and then they'll be like, hey, okay, for those ones they are untouchables. But then if government means it, no one can stay there, my brother. You get? So what
does it mean that there is someone who is not doing his role, or there are some people who are sleeping in the office? Because like if there is a policy, and you've just given a very good example during COVID, which worked.
I feel like let's just term this whole thing as corruption.
Yeah.
We are living in a corrupt space. It's not just the government, but it's also at an individual level. That corruption is amongst us, and it's growing, which is so absurd. So what is happening? It's not like they don't know what is happening. These people clearly see that these places are being encroached, the laws are being enforced, but they choose not to do what is right. It's not like they don't know. It's not that some are being stubborn, but also some are above the law in a corrupt way. You know that you have your money, you'll obviously give in the kintu kidogo.
To add on what Samantha is trying to say, by the way, there are two things that around to that. One is poverty. Two, corruption. Corruption goes to those so-called above the law. Those so-called I have my money. Then poverty goes to this local person. It's going to be like, but
the local people have introduced for them PDM, Memioga.
But then still that PDM stuff is corrupt. You find yourself that because this person who is serving this money doesn't know you, or you have to give him some share back, you will not get the money. That's corruption.
But you know, Dickens, that's the whole point of sensitization. I don't know why sensitization is so much underestimated. But this is something.
The president sent the MPs, the members of parliament.
Let me tell you.
Dickens, I want you to speak like someone who knows what's on ground. You find that these people that are given the PDM money from the president's office, like to go and develop the poor people, and then you find someone will be like, you register here, we have given you 5M, but in actual sense you're getting 3M. Haven't you heard of that?
I've heard.
And what's that? It's corruption. And this is someone who is asked to refund that money of 5M.
Dickens, the whole point is there is corruption in almost every sector. But we are the change. It starts with us.
Yeah.
You get. But also one of the issues that actually most projects are facing is that there is limited follow-up. We notice that in a fight to combat climate change, we are all having different actions. People are planting trees. People are giving out seedlings to people so that they can embrace this. And those are good acts.
Yeah.
But what freaks me out is that you find most of these trees that are sent out to be planted are not actually planted. But it's going to pose that we sent out 5,000 trees to the society, which is a good act. But the reason most projects are not seeing the end results, it's because, first of all, there are no follow-ups. Exactly. We lack follow-ups in almost every sector. If you know that this law has been passed on, let's see what has happened. So after you passed on, have constant follow-ups. Go back after a month. Are the people out? After a year, what's up? Because also people now have this mindset that the moment something is set, give it a short period of time, the government will have relaxed. Same as planting trees. You're going to give people to plant trees, but you don't know where they planted. You don't know how these trees are being taken care of. If you give me these trees, show me that this is a mango tree, you're supposed to water it after every, let's say, every day or after every 2 days.
It's also the same as relocating people from wetlands.
Exactly. You're telling me to relocate, but you're not even giving me the background information. I need to know why I'm moving. Some people just come hashing. Now you've sent that member of parliament to go and represent whichever district they're representing. You should give them, I'm sure they have all these details with them, and their responsibility is to go talk to these people, inform them, because now if the PDM, if those people are given 1 million per household for those people that wanted to invest in businesses, if you're given that 1 million, people who are just receiving that money, I can give you, if you went and did maybe a study on the repercussions of PDM, let's see how many businesses came out. Some of them I'm sure they're going to be forged. Exactly, but because this money is not followed up, and you're giving me this money, but you're not even giving me a study on investment.
Yeah.
I believe these people, whoever would have wanted to receive this money, they should have
got some
called them first of all,
and
given them financial literacy.
Yeah.
If you have people in a space, if you're going to give them the money in December, call them around June, sit them down, have them go through a series of meetings on investment, on proper handling of this money, like the whole financial literacy bit. So that when someone finally receives that 1 million, you have to confirm that they have gone through these classes, but also you can clearly know that where we are putting this money is going to yield something real good. But because you're giving them the money, you're not doing the follow-ups, you're just waiting for random businesses. Someone will get it and go take it to drink. There are families that are starving. There are families that are hurting. I'm sure some of the reckless fathers out there or reckless mothers out there received that money and took it in random places which cannot be accounted for. And then when you come to ask where did the money go, they will show you maybe the already existent farms, or maybe that one pig they bought and they will possibly give excuses of it died or whatsoever. So I feel like we need to do constant follow-ups, even in this fight to combat climate change, in this fight to protect wetlands. Let's give keen effort. If we are enforcing laws, let them be followed, regardless of how poor or rich you are, regardless of the gender, regardless of religion. If we are planting trees, let's follow up how have they been planted. If we are giving different activities, if we are protecting catchment areas or whatsoever it is, let's have follow-up. Let's have the end in mind, also focusing on the future generations. We don't live for us, but for people to come.
Okay, then. Eric, tell me your recommendation to the government. What should the government do, or the private sector, the CBO, the NGOs, that you're part of that space? What can they do to really, we know that this, at least this year, we know that we have done ABCD. We have recorded some successful results in areas to do with wetland restoration and protection.
All right. As I said earlier on, I lead an organization and I lead a team of youths whereby we are engaging ourselves into doing community work. And the campaign we are trying to push is called My Nature. And I think this is self-explanatory, that my nature doesn't only mean my physique, but it means my community, my environment, my climate. So when it comes to wetland protection, our campaign, we are in our year plan of this year, we are looking forward to having our initiatives in areas that are affected by misconducting the wetlands. Like people are there, but then they don't know why they are in, but these people in these wetlands, they don't know that their effect to the area they are in. So we are planning to go there to educate them, because what we always do every time we are conducting these activities, we move with boards, we move with megaphones, we move with flyers, we move with t-shirts. We go to these people, we tell them like the importance of their nature. Though our voice is still small and we need to embrace it more, to like such that it can be in a position to reach even to that person that we have not been able to reach at that point. But then maybe somewhere, somehow it can get to that point, to that person who is somewhere in the village, but then maybe can listen to the information on a radio. He can maybe find someone in a t-shirt saying, hey, my nature. So be like, hey, what's that all about? You get? So protecting wetlands under our initiative of My Nature, this is like, there are many issues concerning that. Plastic disposal. These plastics, all that are being disposed of in the cities, in the community, they are all eroded to the wetlands. These pollutions, they end up damaging these wetlands in a way that no one is going to look forward to come to these wetlands and see how they can be in the position to train these people and also to protect the wetland as well. So there are, in fact, many activities are conducted and they end up damaging wetlands. Another point, we will talk also about these factory wastes.
Yeah.
These guys who are having industries, they are wasted materials, they are like used oils, they end up pouring them in the wetlands. And this thing is really damaging the wetlands, whereby the wetland, which would have been filled with, I think it's papyrus that mostly grows in these wetlands, and maybe some shrubs. You end up seeing that these plants are drying up because like the water they are taking in, it's contaminated. It's not healthy for them. The animals that would have been harboring there, they are all facing challenges. So we need to try to find out how can these people be in a position to know how wetlands are important to them, in that they can be in the position to also protect these wetlands for the next generation. I always tell my colleagues wherever we are that just imagine if people who lived 100, 1,000 years before us were conducting themselves like we are conducting ourselves these days, would we be in the position to enjoy the earth the way we are enjoying it right now? Just imagine you, my brother, and you, the person viewing us, the activities you're conducting right now, if they were conducted 1,000 years ago, will you be surviving right now? Or you will need to be moving in the environment with oxygen masks because the area is all polluted. You get? We've seen this in movies, but I believe it will one day come to reality.
God
you
forbid.
Get? It can be God forbid if at all we take serious measures on our actions right now. You find someone, you're pouring soil, rubbish in wetlands because you feel like you want to relocate the wetland. My brother, my sister, my father, my mother, nature has power.
Yeah.
You can be like, hey, I am an engineer, what? You set up your infrastructure, it will be there, but one day, nature will be stubborn on you, and you'll suffer the consequences. We've seen people losing lives, losing property, and they even have no way of regaining their property because of trying to be like, for you can go beyond the powers of nature. You get? I would suggest, let's do our activities, but also in respect to environment. Thank you.
Okay then. Oh, that's Eric for you, the team leader of
My Nature Community Work.
My Nature Community Work.
And founder Actions for a Better Future.
Wow, that's it. If in case you want anything, maybe to contact him, or you want to learn more, he has social media handles that you, I think maybe tell the people your social media how they can reach you out on social media.
Oh, all right. Okay, for those of you who are interested in our work, in what we do, Our social media handles are AFBF, that's the abbreviation for the organization, which is Actions for a Better Future, and My Nature is a campaign under Action for a Better Future. So it's a project we are working on. And then those who want to reach out to me personally, all my social media handles, they have Luce Eric Matthew. Luce is Luse, then Eric Matthew. So X, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you'll find me there. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Eric. Then let me come to Samantha, as of the one with a lot of energy. Please, your recommendation to the viewers and your remark to the government and also to the CSOs, NGOs, CBO spaces.
Yeah, much has been said by Eric, and not to differ from him, we have to think about our actions now to determine our future generations and how they will live. So if we are not paying attention to the actions that are happening right now, the people that are coming after us are going to face the consequences, which might be good or bad depending on what is happening on ground right now. I call out to all the responsible organizations, the government, and different institutions that let's work together. Just like the initiative Actions for a Better Future, I'm also volunteering with the Environmental Hub Uganda. This organization is passionate about going down to the roots, interacting with these people that we think are low-income earners. But it goes down to the roots and promoting the environment, giving them basic knowledge on how best we can protect the environment through planting trees, through proper waste management solutions. So all these activities are going on under Environmental Hub, and you can follow them on all their social media handles, X at Environment and Climate Hub Uganda. But also, yes, for my social media, that's at Samantha Kungu. And yeah, let's work together for a better future.
Wow. You have heard from my guest today. I hope you have learned, you have written something. Most times I tell you that when it's about time for environmental dialogue, sit down with a pen and a book and you just keep on noting every key point. Because this is a learning app that you learn a lot from these young people. And always I heard the young people that don't wait that I need to finish campus, I need to finish some training or what to do something, or we wait for government adverts to first apply for those jobs, then you need to be to do something. I always tell the young people that money looks for people who are doing something, but not people who are doing nothing. So don't always complain, government at Uyabe, government, where are you? Not that. We have a lot that you can do in regards to our environment. That's the reason why we are here always to share our views, share our ideas at UCTV. And make sure that every opportunity we share here, you learn about it, to try to at least, to take good use of the opportunities which are available in climate change and environmental arena. We always be here every Wednesday. We know we are still talking with management. We'll be having from 1 hour to 2 hours, as we know that we are growing bigger and bigger every day, and we are reaching out to every places in this initiative of environmental advocacy. We know all of us, we are climate activists, we are advocates for the environment. And we would like to thank UCTV management, thank like Lucy, Eric, Samantha for sparing your time, and my producers who are behind the set there. Thank you very much for this time that you've been rendering to us and having this show reaching the globe. And we always be here every Wednesday. I remain Dickens Ochero, the show host of Environmental Dialogue. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next time.
UCTV. Good news for all.